Can you give us a quick wrap of what has happened, the highlights at least so far?
Bok, good afternoon. Kanina, yung isa sa pinakaunang natalakay sa Blue Ribbon Committee ay yung supposed inaccurate grid coordinates na binigay ni dating DPWH Secretary Manny Bonoan sa Malacanang. Pero pinaliwanag ni Secretary Bonoan na ito ay yung mga coordinates din na in-instruct niya rin itong si dating DPWH Sec Maria Catalina Cabral to collate alinsunod doon sa instruksyon ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na magsumiti raw ng listahan ng lahat ng kumpleto ng flood control projects. Pero lumalabas kasi na itong mga coordinates nito, ito yung MIPS coordinates, ito yung multi-year programming and scheduling application coordinates. Ito yung during the planning stage pa lang, sa simula kapag kanilabas na yung GAA, ito yung coordinates na binibigay rin ng mga ahensya ng lugar kung saan planong gawin yung infra projects. Yun nga lang, lumabas din sa pagdinig kanina na meron pang tinatawag na ASTIC coordinates. Ito naman yung coordinates na during the implementation period o yung construction na mismo ng mga infra projects. At sinabi naman kanina ni Secretary Bonoan, pwede magkaroon ng pagbabago sa coordinates nitong mga proyekto. One cause dyan ay yung environmental factors. So for example, sa case ng ilog, pwedeng lumiit, pwedeng mag-change ng landscape, same din sa mga lupa. Kaya nagkakaroon ng pagkakaiba or variance doon sa coordinates. Yun nga lang ang sinasabi naman dito ni DPWH Yusek Bisnar, posibleng mag-restart sila sa pag-i-inspection at pag-validate ng mga proyekto. Doon kasi sa mga over 30,000 na flood control projects from 2016 to 2025. Marami na raw silang na-inspection dito, 10,238. Sa 10,000 na ito, ang na-declare na raw nilang non-existent ay 252. So dahil daw sa developments na to na lumalabas sa pagdinig, pwedeng lumabas na mali yung coordinates lang, mali lang yung lugar na napuntahan nila, na inspeksyonan nila. Kaya kakailanganin daw nilang mag-restart, balikan ito para ma-justify talaga kung non-existent or existing pero iba lang daw yung coordinates ng mga proyekto. Other topics from that naman na natalakay ay yung supposed pagpa-purchase ni dating House Speaker Martin Romualdez ng house and lot sa Makati, kung saan yung dalawang tumestigo by the name Joy and Maria, sinasabi nila na napakilala sa kanila yung isang contractor, yung contractor na to na name drop si Romualdez. Then nakita nila sa isang hearing daw ng Senado yung mukha ng contractor na to, doon nila nalaman na ang pangalan pala noon ay si Curly Discaya. Pero kanina, dinenay naman ni Curly at sinasabi niyang wala raw siyang naaalalang pagkakataon na na-meet niya or nagkaroon siya ng ganong transaksyon sa Makati.
Bok, balikan ko lang yung sa coordinates kasi kung ang argumento ni Bonoan is even rivers can change their course, but grid coordinates will not change their courses. Grid coordinates will not change. So kung anong nakamark na grid coordinates na kung saan in-implement ang project, pag balikan mo yung grid coordinate, andun pa rin yun kahit nagbago na yung pupunta ng ilog.
Oo nga, Bok. Yan yung hindi pa actually sobrang linaw dito. Nagkaroon lang kasi ng pagpapaliwanag sa possible variance ng mga coordinate. Wala rin pang ibang paglilinaw talaga kung bakit nga ba iba yung MIPS doon sa lumalabas naman na ASTIC coordinates. Basta ang sinasabi, during implementation, pwedeng magkaroon ng changes doon sa coordinates in comparison doon sa prior na binigay naman na coordinates during the planning stage.
So, and even if magkaiba yung MIPS versus, what's the second one?
ASPIC.
ASPIC?
ASTIC.
Kahit magkaiba sila, you can just establish the fact that there is.
I mean, it shouldn't be wide variance. It shouldn't be too far off each other. There could be some coordinate differences in terms of specifics, pero it shouldn't be so far off.
And even if they were far off, I mean, you could still check na was something built, whether it's in the planned or the actual coordinate, the MIPS or the ASTIC coordinate. So whichever the case is, you would still find something dapat in one of those two coordinates for you to be able to say na hindi nga siya ghost project.
Bok, ang nasabi rin dyan ni Secretary Bonoan na nung pagkatapos na magkaroon ng submission ng listahan ng mga proyekto, siya rin daw mismo nag-deploy din ng team inspection at nag-check din daw siya. Kaya ikinagulat niya na marami pa raw lumalabas sa flood control projects, whereas sa kanyang mga nakita, Region 3, doon lang sa Bulacan 1st District Engineering area talaga, yung nakita niyang merong ghost flood control projects.
Tsaka nga these are usually huge projects because they're flood control projects, hindi siya nawawalang sapatos eh. So one way or the other, you should
Of
be
all
able to,
things, Bok. Of all things.
you should be
Okay,
able to find something.
let's move on to the other controversy at today's hearing, wherein two new witnesses turned up, saying that they were staff of the previous tenant of 30 Tamarind Road in Forbes Park, and allegedly they had met with Curly Discaya in person. In fact, one of them, pointed to Curly Discaya during at the Senate premises, and said that Curly daw was renovating or doing some amendments to the house on behalf of Martin Romualdez. Because I caught that hearing up until the point where Curly Discaya flatly denied it. Anong alam natin dito, Marymon? Where will this go? Because he's flat out denying that he's ever been inside Forbes Park, right?
Well, ang sabi kanina ni Senator Ping, yun na daw yun. Pinoint out daw siya nitong dalawa, which was Joy and Maria. And then, dinenay naman ni Curly itong claims or yung sinasabing mga nagkaroon sila ng transaction or pagkikita doon sa subdivision sa Makati. Unfortunately, nagkaroon kasi ng ibang path yung pagdinig. Medyo na-pause yung usapin tungkol dito sa purchased house and lot ni supposedly the former House Speaker, na iba sa ibang topic naman yung pagdinig. So we're expecting or anticipating na baka mabring up ulit ito mamaya or sa mga susunod na oras sa pagdinig ng komite. Pero nung natanong din kasi kanina ng komite, sino raw ba yung nakalagay doon sa deed of absolute sale, ang nasabi naman dito nung dalawang testigo, it was Golden Peasant Holding Corporation. Hindi raw nakalagay, to be specific, yung pangalan ni Romualdez. So far, yan pa lang yung lumalabas na mga information from the testimony. So, possibly, though wala pang sinasabi ang komite, maaaring ipatawag din nila naman itong mga nababanggit na mga pangalan.
What,
I'm sure the committee would or should know that they can also subpoena the security records of
the register,
South Forbes.
registry of deeds.
Kasi if he was there physically, then there should be a record of him having gone through.
But it's the same as, you remember that debate we had last time about whether the Marines, yung hinahanap si Orly Guteza, whether they can definitively say for sure pumasok or nakapasok si Orly Guteza, and we were saying na if nandun siya, so for instance, sa loob ng kotse and he was hidden, how will you know? No, it's the same as in the village, right?
No,
You
I
could
mean,
make a register of the car.
Yeah.
You could
But
register the entry of the car.
If he's a personality supposed to go there to make arrangements, I'm sure that they would call in and say, papasok si ganon, papasukin nyo. Not the driver, papasok si ganon.
I think it would be easy enough to hide him if he was merely passenger. But anyways, we'll leave that there. Mukhang marami pang questions that this particular Blue Ribbon inquiry is raising. We'll continue to monitor that. But thank you for that report, mobile journalist Marymon Reyes.